Hi everyone. Well, welcome to this special December Christmas painting. Every year I like to take a few minutes and write out in a watercolor sketch what I really want to do. How do I want to show up for people? Who do I want to care for? Go out to coffee with? Have over to dinner? What Bible study am I going to do this month? All those important things that can get lost in the hustle and bustle. I create a watercolor sketch and then I'm going to fill up the vase with that written exercise. And so we're going to do this in the setting of these beautiful Christmas peonies this year, which I discovered I've never seen peonies at Christmas time. My sister found them at Trader Joe's, sent me a snapshot, and of course I ran to my Trader Joe's and picked some up. And these gorgeous pink flowers are such a fun spot of color, surrounded by all of the lights and the green Christmas tree, and I hope you love this project too. Let's paint and play together. Hi everyone, well welcome to this beginning of the Christmas season watercolor project. A lot of times I will do these looking back watercolor sketches where we sketch out beautiful florals or leaves and look back at the season, but I wanted to do something fun to enter into the Christmas season with some joy and some planning and expectation and anticipation and moving away from hectic and busy and crazy and anxiety. So I hope you will enjoy this project with me. Grab a piece of paper. I have my sketch out, but I'm going to go over it with a micron pen so you can see it. So what we're doing is we're doing a big vase. We're going to have our stems. We have blooms, and we have my sister. I've got to thank my sister for this. We have Christmas peonies. I didn't know that was a thing. She saw some in Trader Joe's the other day and sent me a little video. But first, let's go ahead and get our vase sketched out. The idea with this is I want a vase. Now, I play with my pencil a lot when I do a vase because I'll go really light, and then when I get it how I like it, I will then go over it with the micron pen or finalize it, and then of course using my favorite General's Tri-Tip eraser, clean it up. So go ahead and just sketch a vase with me, and as we sketch, I'm going to talk about the flowers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the heart behind this project. So that again, I'm going to do the bottom of my vase. We're going to paint it so we can see it. We're going to see through it, so we really are going to kind of see the other end. We're going to see the water on the inside. I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let me come in closer so you can see this. I am going to come and I am actually going to sketch some of my leaves coming over that vase. It's because I really want, this is a super full vase just exploding. You know when you kind of get a bunch of flowers into a vase that's not quite big enough, but it has this just beautiful look to it? That's what I want. So I've got a leaf up here as well. Let's start adding our Christmas peonies though. I'm going to be looking for some Christmas peonies. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find any, but now that I know it's a thing, I don't know if they're like grown in hot houses or what, but I'm going to be on the lookout and maybe include some pictures. But these are really peony-esque flowers, okay? So what I'm doing is I basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blooms, big ones, and then I have a couple of little ones, 6, 7, because we like to have an odd number. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm just going to sketch out again, just the outline of them, because I just need to know where my flowers are, where the stems are, so then I don't go crazy and paint the wrong things, right? Or cover up stuff I don't want to cover up. So I've got 1 here, 2 here, and I always, whenever I create florals, not every time, but a lot of times, and I have them in a vase, I'm thinking of like that umbrella look, right? We want them to come out and over. For the most part, unless I'm trying to do some sort of statement piece that's going to the side. All right, so a stem coming out here, and then over here I have this peony looking more of it's hanging out on its side. So we've got it peeking over there. And remember with our peonies, they're kind of billowing out. But again, these are almost poppy inspired. I'm not trying to be, I'm not being too particular here. It's really an inspiration. I know we're all busy, and I'm hoping that you'll do this project and really spend a few minutes thinking, praying, considering the beauty and everything that we have ahead of us. I know this time of year goes so quickly, and that's why I think it's really important to do a little bit of time of thinking what you would like this holiday season to be and to do. And the idea with this is at the end of it, we can write in and fill up our vase or our leaves, our stems with the things that we would like to do this month to celebrate Christmas. And it can be, I'm hoping actually for more of simple things Okay, now I'm going to do the Christmas branches, okay? So I'm going to just have them out here like this. And I'm thinking of things like, of course, I want to get out my Christmas cards for sure. I want to do that. I actually, was it last year? I hardly got any out. So I'm going to put that on my calendar. There's some people I want to be a little bit more intentional about reaching out to people this year. And about doing some phone calls for people I won't see throughout the month. There's a couple of books I just want to read. Like, I love reading this book I don't read it, like The Quiet Little Woman. It's a great Christmas story, and it's short. It's not long, but just doing a couple of things, intentionally doing some reading. What am I going to study in the Bible? Kind of focus with that. I want to have a gathering at my place with some friends, but if I don't plan it, the whole month just disappears really quick. Now, some of you are amazing. You've already have all these things on your calendar, but I have a few projects that I want to finish, but they're all kind of small. These aren't really huge things. Now I'm going to come in down here so you can see my stems. Down here. Again, it's just a way of thinking about the season. Thinking about where I'm going to spend my time and energy and resources, right, on the last and final month of the year with Christmas, but of course it's also that end of the year, there's other things going on as well. And so just a way to look forward. I thought about doing like a whole Advent series or like 25 days of painting, and I'm going to be honest with you, it sounded like so much fun, but also I'm thinking to myself, I don't have it in me. I just didn't quite have it in me, but I thought, what, I can do this. And I think that might be one of the lessons I'm learning in this season of life. It's like, what can I do? What am I able, I'm going to get, let's see this stem. We're going to pretend it's coming right over here. What do I have the capacity for? And I have the capacity for this really fun project and some other things, but this one looking forward, and I can start adding in different things that are priorities for me during this final month of December. Okay, so that took me about just a few minutes to sketch. Of course, I had it already sketched out, so that was cheating a little bit, right? But go ahead if you want to pause, and then you can take a look at this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my colors ready, and then you can decide what colors you want to use as well. So I am going to use, I think I'm going to use pink, because when I saw those little peonies, I was like, oh, they're just gorgeous pink. So I am going to use pink, and of course green and blue, and I'm going to try to keep my colors pretty clean. I had done like a fall floral like this, but bigger, and it turned out lovely. But I will say, there was kind of a few too many colors. And you know what happens when we have too many colors, right? And get a little bit faded. So grab your brush, and I'm going to actually start with my water because I want it to dry fairly fast. I'm going to get my blues pretty wet, like really, really watery. I had done this particular vase with someone I'm working with and helping her with her painting. And we were using a book that she really admired. And so this vase was in it. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of a pretty vase. It was bigger, so I changed it up a little bit, but they really suggested doing something different with the water, of going over everything and then painting the stems in. So I thought, okay, so let's go ahead, keep it really watery, but just go ahead, don't paint over your leaves, but paint over your stems, and see how watery this is. Like, I've got a lot of water in here. In fact, if I don't move it a little bit, we're going to get some water stains in there, and that's okay. You do not have to paint as fast as me. I still like these videos to be kind of about 20-ish minutes in length, but you can always pause. If you start hearing that sound of the paint on the paper really loud, if it feels dry, pick up some more water, pick up some more paint. And then we're going to add in more color down below, right, where there's going to be shadowing on the bottom. So just dab in extra water down there. And then on the sides, that was something in the book too. I'm like, okay, so she did on both sides. Of course, it depends where your light is coming from, right? So let's just pretend the light is coming in over here. So I'm actually just going to go maybe on this side and just a little bit over here, but not a lot. I'm going to have most of my light coming in right over here. So we'll keep all the things on this side a little bit darker. Okay, now what I want us to do, just to keep everything nice and even, is to take another one of your brushes, maybe a smaller one, take that blue again, and over your Christmas tree branches, let me move up here, I actually want you to use this blue. Now I'm using a phthalo blue. You can use an ultramarine, it doesn't matter, and then we're going to go over it with green. You know I really like to, oh, I have a little bit too much water here, that's okay. You know I like to keep just a few colors. I want those colors to really sing and kind of dance around the page. And one way we can do that is by mixing the same couple of colors and not introducing too many different watercolors. I've noticed they all have different undertones, right? Red or green or blue. So if you start using a lot of different colors, it can just sometimes be a little bit clashy, And as I'm thinking about Christmas this season, and I know it's going to go by so fast, and I'm adding things into my calendar, I don't want to have that sense of clashing, right? We want that sense of harmony, of busy, but intentional busyness. Yes? Okay, let's pick up some green. I am going to go ahead and use a hooker's green that I have right over here. Let me back this up. Oh, let me back that up. I have hooker's green in the corner here. I'm going to take that hooker's green. I don't even think I'm going to use any yellow in this particular painting. What I am going to use is I'm just going to use blue and green. I am going to start with my leaves. Now be careful about the leaves that are up against the vase, right? Because I don't want them to merge. So maybe we'll just do the top of this one, and I'm going to leave the outer parts alone for now. I'm going to move over here with this one too. Okay, I have a leaf back here. Oh, okay, good, you can see that. But you can see I am blocking out the colors and just doing one color at a time and just working my way around. Okay, and then I'm gonna where's my other leaf? I'm gonna make a leaf. I'm actually gonna put one peeking out right here. If you see an empty spot, feel free to add a leaf there. Okay, now, on my branches, I'm just going to go over the blue with the green. Now, if you use pencil, you'll notice my micron pen is gonna really make it more distinctive. You can go back with the micron pen after it dries and add in those lines. That's a fun way of just kind of cleaning it up too, especially if some of the watercolor gets away from you. I'm gonna come down here. Come in a little bit closer. Now I'm going to recommend that once you get your stems and your Christmas leaves, this base, give it just a minute to dry, because when we put in the colors for our beautiful winter peonies, we really would prefer that there's not merging, right? We don't want things to sing together and then turn to mud. That is always such a bummer. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to come and do my stems in here. All right. And notice even right here on this peony, I have just a little bit of water that merged there. So I'm just going to just tap it with my soft cloth just like that. And then too, you might notice, like if you notice on mine, I have a little bit more fullness over here, and it maybe feels a little bit bare. So I can do a couple of things. I can just maybe add another leaf right here and just extend that out. And I'm actually going to add a little bit blue in there. Isn't that nice? I know. Okay, and just moving this around. And as you're doing this, I also hope that if you were carrying any, I know there's like 3 million things to do. If you carried your to-do list in here, you're able to set your to-do list down for just a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm actually going to do another Christmas branch coming out right here. Okay, very good. Now I am going to come back and do my stems. So I'm going to come back out and I'm going to pull the camera back a bit. I'm going to set this to the side. And I'm hoping to you're thinking, I realize life has been so full and busy. I know there's a bunch of things I want to do, but it's like my brain is too full of things. So sometimes doing a project like this will start to quiet my heart and my mind. I'm thinking, okay, what other things are important? What do I need to think about or look at right now? and think about for this coming month. What would be important to do? Who are the important people to see? Okay, I am going to go ahead. Let's see if I can do this without, oh, it's too wet. Okay, I'm going to carefully, I am just going to kind of pull, you might wait till yours is dry. I'm just going to do a little bit of these green leaves. But then I am going to pause it for a minute and have to come back and go a darker color over there. Otherwise, right, it's going to be messy, and we do not want green merging into our blue. So going like this, just like this. Okay, that's great. Okay, now, again, let it dry. One thing we can do is I will go ahead and do the table that it's sitting on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a bit of a brown, because I will have to introduce, I think I'm going to introduce a little bit of brown into the branches. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a brown table. We're just going to pretend, we're not going to be real fancy with our table. Can you see this? And I didn't even sketch out. I probably should have. So it's going to be uneven, but that's okay. I am not too bothered by that. This is simply something for me, a personal project. I'm going to come over here. Now remember we have shadowing under here. If the light's coming behind here, we're going to have shadow right over here. So I'm going to create a little bit of a darker brown down below. I'm just going to add more color. It always dries lighter, so maybe put a little bit more saturated color there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come back up here, and you can see the peonies up here. I'm going to go ahead and just use some pink, and I have like a crimson pink right here, so I'm going to get that nice and wet. We're going to see really quick if I'm going to regret this, but I think it's dry enough I can at least get this first layer down. I'll come back later and do another layer over everything, but I just want to get that little bit, that first color. Oh, that's really gorgeous. And that is a nice deep pink, which when I think of winter flowers, like you think of like winter roses, they are bold. And the peonies that my sister had, the picture that she had showed me, they were like a bright fuchsia. So this kind of goes right in with those Christmas flowers that I saw. So I'm just going to move this around here, being careful to avoid the green, because green and pink make brown. We don't want that. And so I'm not going to, you can do multiple color flowers if you'd like. I'm going to stick with all pink. My sister and I were talking, Caitlin, the one she had sent me the pictures, and she really likes like a mixed bouquet with all different kinds of flowers and different colors. And I love that too, but I think there is something where I do like really a striking, just the same flower, a bunch of them. I just think there's something super striking about that. How about you? Do you like mixed flowers? Do you like a bouquet full of all sorts of flowers? Or like more of one with some accent colors? Definitely times and places for both. Okay, I'm going to come around here, and again just adding to our peony-inspired flowers, right? They're not quite peonies. They're kind of like peonies slash meadow flowers slash poppies. It's a little bit, oh, I got a little bit of green in there. I'm just going to tap on that, and then, oh, I'll grab, you know what, I'm going to get my soft cloth and just dab, dab, dab. That's okay. Just tap that. It'll just eat up all of the color, and then I'll come back in and paint it. And it is a rainy day. And so we had a bit of sun, and that sun just went behind a cloud. We had a lot of rain yesterday. I think there's more coming. It is that time of year, right? You have to be ready for anything with the weather. Okay, I'm going to come back over here. You can see I'm just dabbing to just create texture within the flowers. I'm going to come over here. Leave some white spots on your flowers, so that's where the light can catch them. I'll come back over here where my flowers were a little bit droopy. Okay, that's a really good first pass at this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to let it dry, and then I'll come back and I'll do a little bit around the edges. I'll do some splattering. And then this, again, this was a pretty quick one. I wanted to be done quickly and then spend some time with it, doing some sketching over it, adding in. I'm actually going to write in the things that I want to do, those just things I'm going to pray about, those goals that I have. I'll probably fill up my vase because I was just thinking the month is so full. I've got this nice big vase here, and I'm going to fill it up once everything is dried with everything that I am hoping will do. And it's not going to be a tons of things, and it's not going to be super big things necessarily either. It's going to be those things that are important though, filling with people and activities that are important. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how it finishes up. Okay, so everything is dried and I've started adding in my details. So you can see it's tiny, but I have just started writing out all sorts of things that I would like to do. And I have things such as reaching out to certain people that I don't want to forget, to mailing packages, to writing Christmas cards, to making sure I have a quiet night. There's a museum here, there's a Christmas display that I've never seen, so that's on there. Maybe I'll do that with a friend. Connecting with family with phone a couple times a week. So I have a dinner with a friend. So all sorts of things that I would like to do this month of December. A Bible study, but these are simple things too. These are just very simple things. You might include things like maybe walking a couple times a week, and walking and seeing the Christmas lights with friends or family or children or grandchildren. So it's just full. I'm filling my vase up, and now I'm going to finish up the details of the painting. So I just have a couple magazines I love. I still have magazine subscriptions, which I love. And when the Christmas ones come, normally what I'll do is I will take an afternoon or an evening with a cup of tea, and I just like to flip through them and maybe get inspired, maybe cut things out. But that can be another way of getting ideas. Maybe you want to decorate with someone or make decorations, all the things I've got to bake from scratch. Magnolia just came. I have not opened any of these. I have been saving them. And then of course my favorite, Victoria. And so I will also pull these aside, and I might get some ideas of other things that I want to do. I really like to have a couple of things that I can do, activities with people that would make the season special and memorable. And, being especially noticing those who maybe need extra encouragement, right? Of just keeping our eyes out for those who need family and friends, especially during this time of year. So as we think about that, as we pray into that, let's go ahead and finish up our lovely sketch. So really what I'm going to do is very simple. A couple of things. I do want to do some bolder leaves or stems. I'm so sorry. So I am just going to come through here, and I am just going to create, maybe not on every single one of them, but just a little bit more green. Now they are going to be lighter, right, because they're covered in water, and you could always come back in and do another overflow of water. But I wanted just to come back in a little bit, add in some more green right there, and then also come through. I'm going to mix my green and the blue and put over here and get that nice and bold. And then I'm going to come through too, and on some of my leaves, especially though the fir, right? The Christmas tree branches, that a lot of them have like a really nice, is it the balsam or is it the Douglas fir? They're almost blue in like a blue green. So that's what I was thinking about my leaves. So I'm just going to come back with these stems, and you could always go back with your micron pen as well. Let me come in, but see how all of a sudden, even on this side, it's starting to look bolder. And so that is what I want to do. Okay, I do not want to dip my paint water and the tea. Keep them far apart, right? Okay, I'm going to come over here with just a little bit of the blue, and I am going to add a little bit of shadowing. That might be a lot, but not bad actually. Right over here on this side, because we did have a bit of shadowing there, right? And also the lid of the jar, let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave part of it white, so it's catching maybe a little bit of light there. And with my water, just a little bit of movement over on this side here. I'll take some water and just kind of wash everything down. You might see your papers buckling a little bit. That's okay. You just put it under, it will dry nicely, and then you can put it under under a big pile of books, and that'll take care of that. Okay, now I am again, we have a little bit, I'm going to grab my pink, And I'm really not going to add any other color into my pink. We could add a little bit of blue for some shadowing, but I honestly think with this one, because I know we're all, maybe if you're like me, you might be busy decorating the house, the tree, the weekend after Thanksgiving, right? So I wanted to keep this simple. Okay, I've missed a petal there. So you can just see I'm going around, adding in some depth where it just looked a little bit faded. Leaving that white though as well. Okay, now I'm going to back up a little bit. I think because it's wet and I don't want to mess everything up, you can definitely do a wash, but I'm actually just going to do splatters because it is the holidays and it is so much fun this time of year, right? So there is lots of joy to be had, especially if like you're around kids, right? I was talking with someone whose little one is 2, and so like this Christmas is just going to be an absolute blast. All right, I'm going to pick up some brown. We didn't include brown in our branches, and I meant to. So what if you want to come back in, I'm just going to put where my branches are. Maybe I'll even put a little bit right here. You don't have to do this, but I realized I forgot my brown. A little bit of brown in here. I think this was supposed to be another leaf back here, so I'm just going to pick up some green. We're just going to tuck in a little leaf right there. You can see I'm just kind of doing a lot of dabbing here. The beauty of watercolor, I had another leaf I think in here, and then honestly I'm just going to do a little bit of sparkling, and I think with the green blue I'm even going to sparkle kind of around the vase, over here on the table. And then I will take a little bit of brown, and just to spread the color around, I'll put some brown up here at the corner. Even sprinkle a little bit on my flowers. It just makes it look super, super lively and fun, and then you can keep on writing as well. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of my blue-green, and I'm just kind of playing, and I just want to do a little bit more on some of these leaves that faded. So I don't paint the whole leaf. I just come in, let me come in closer so you can see that. And you see where you're seeing kind of the light, right? Because it's going to be darker where those big, huge petals are kind of falling on top of it. So I'm just going to do that, a little bit here. And really, I think I'm about done. This was a blast. This was so much fun. I love doing this. It took us, what, maybe about 30 minutes altogether, not including that dry time. I'll do a little bit of shadowing under my vase, but I'm actually going to keep writing on this. I'm going to tuck this like into my journal, and I'll just kind of keep it close to my heart, and maybe even write just kind of, maybe I will write a prayer of just dedication for the season on the back, of really just lifting up the season. I want everything to be done intentionally to the glory of God, for the good of others, right? That is how we have a really gorgeous and wonderful and meaningful Christmas season. So I hope you enjoyed painting this Christmas Peonies-esque inspired holiday, just a holiday anticipation watercolor journal. I will include a picture of it, of course, on the YouTube channel. I hope you have a beautiful beginning of the month. It is such a wonderful time of year.